Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN and then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. We're also brought to you by our Kentucky Derby contest. The winner gets a $100 SGPN gift card exclusively on the SGPN app. Welcome, everybody, to the Premier League Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford, coming to you from Newcastle upon Tyne, up in the northeast of England. Today is Thursday, May the 4th. Oh, I should have done a funny joke there, Baz. It's only just dawned on us. I've got a really funny joke lined up for the baseball show later on, if you want to hear that. And yeah, we've got a full game of Premier League action over the weekend. Saturday, Sunday and Monday. Bank holiday weekend again. Joining us from Bingham in Nottinghamshire is Mr. Barry Penaluna. Bazza, how are you doing?
Even Malcolm, all good here. How are you?
Yeah, I'm tremendous. Busy as 1,000 snakes. The little Kentucky Derby contest that I've just alluded to in the ad reads there. I've done all my Kentucky Derby work today, done all my homework, so I've got all the winners. All the winners are in this jotter, Baz. They're all written down there. I will be going on the mothership with Sean and Ryan in round about an hour and a quarter to discuss the Kentucky Derby with the Wolf of Oaklawn and Sean and Ryan. So yeah, been really busy. Yeah, weird little week of football, 4 games. Haven't really done very well. 1 out of 3 with 1 still to go. And then we've got Brighton and Manchester United, which will be kicking off maybe as we still speak in about 40 minutes time. So we might get the first 10 minutes of that one. Before we go any further then, Baz, on that Brighton Man United game, do you want to throw your picks out for that, just for anyone who's joining us live?
I took Man United to win. I took them at a price of around 3-1 when we did the show on Monday night. They have shortened up quite a bit. They're about 21-10 tonight. And it was purely a value play. I just thought...
Was that team used then or something, Baz? That shortened them up?
Sure, I haven't looked at. The only thing I do know is Solly March isn't starting because he's in my fantasy football team.
Did you just use his full name there, Baz?
Solly March, obviously.
So there you go, you see.
I'm going to have to watch that tonight to see, play the Solly March game. Just having a look at team lineups now. What do we got? Man United, Brighton. Nothing unusual for Brighton. Matoma, McAllister back in the lineup. And Man United have got Martial, Fernandes, Anthony, Rashford. All looks. Maguire isn't in, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, that might be it, yeah.
Shortened up a little bit. So yeah, I went for Man United, purely a bit of value. I just thought they were a little bit overpriced. And as I say, Brighton's home form, it's just average. So yeah, that was a pick for me. I did get a message yesterday, actually, or a couple of days ago, from our Dutch friend. I've got his name now, is Tees.
Okay.
He messaged me to say thanks for his shout out on the last show, but also told me I'd lost the plot with my pick of Man United to beat Brighton. That's fair enough. I've no problem with anybody opposing me. Like that's not always a bad thing.
Well, yeah, it's a tricky one tonight. Serial has joined us. He wants the first half ladder. We're going to talk about first half goals in a little minute as well, because that was a little bit bonkers this week. This is going to be 0-0 tonight, boss. We just saw this a couple of weeks ago. My picks are under 2.5 goals. Plus 130. I thought the price was huge, 13-10. We've just seen the game. Why wouldn't it happen again? And I know everyone thinks that Brighton are full of goals, but yeah, I'm telling you, it's not. Yeah, the rest of the midweek was just a bit weird. We started off all right. Arsenal-Chelsea was on Tuesday evening. Arsenal beat Chelsea 3-1. I took Arsenal to win and over 2.5 goals, which was a nice price, 7-5 plus 140. You took Arsenal to win in over 2 goals, which was a price of 10-11.
Two Arsenal goals, mine was.
Sorry, yeah, 2 Arsenal goals. Yeah, 10-11 minus 110. Pretty much free money, really. This was because they were playing Chelsea, and it was done. It was another one of those. We've seen a lot of these recently where the good team is taking the shambolic team and putting them to the sword inside the first 2 or 3 minutes. So,
yeah,
that was a nice little win. And then last night, I was just underwhelmed by my bets and my picks, but also by both games, really. Manchester City 3, West Ham 0 was kind of started. What I didn't really factor in, Baz, was that West Ham had the cup games. Well, really, this was a throwaway game for them because they've still got the Europa Conference League semi-final. Is it Alkmaar, I think they're playing? And then they've got more winnable games. So I'm not sure how hard they actually tried. They didn't play badly, but they were kind of quite happy to lose 3-0. Manchester City took a little while to get going. You picked a winner in this one. Any thoughts on this one, Baz, before we talk about Liverpool?
I mean, obviously, I took the City to score 3 goals, which is a pretty standard play most weeks at the moment. The only thing frustrating, obviously, for you was the clean sheet, because you took both teams to score. For me, the frustrating thing about the clean sheet was Edison got dropped. So I brought in Edison this week into my fantasy football team because he had 2 games, Saturday and Wednesday. Obviously, he didn't keep a clean sheet Saturday, and he didn't last night because he didn't play. So Ortega got the clean sheet points, and I got nothing for Edison. Worst transfer of the season.
Shambles.
I wasn't the only one. I'd seen someone else on our Twitter. I think it was Aaron, Newcastle fan, who also brought Edison in this week. To see him pick up 1 point from 2 games was a bit disappointing. But other than that, no further comments on this game. Let's talk about it.
Just for reference, Baz, there is absolutely no way I don't get interrupted in the next 40 minutes or so. Because we're recording at a funny time here because I've got a couple of other things to do. So we're a bit early, which means the family's buzzing around. I've just had a message on my phone off my daughter saying, can you put my pizza in the oven? The washing's on, the laundry's on. Can you hear Bob shouting and screaming at his Xbox through there? No. It's mayhem. So there's going to be stuff's going to happen in the next 40 minutes or so. I'm just warning you, there's nothing I can do. The IT department wants feeding as well. So I've already missed the board for putting the pizza in the oven. So yeah, just be prepared for that. Liverpool 1, Fulham 0. I don't know what to do with this one, Baz. Liverpool were a bit better than them. But we said last week they picked up 9 points in a week, which could easily have been 2 or 3 or 5. And then they picked up another 3 last night with a horrible bit of defending. That's worse than the penalty decision, the bit of defending from Mr. Jupp. No idea what he was thinking.
Don't know what he was doing.
It's not like you see them sometimes where the bloke sneaks up behind you and nicks it off your toe, but he sneaked up from in front of him, like Darwin Núñez is 6'4", he's coming straight at you. It's not like you haven't seen him coming. That was really weird. So I'm guessing, Baz, from the amount of swearing you did before we started recording, that you didn't think this was a penalty.
No, it was a dive. There was no contact. He plants his foot in front of him and then he dives over. It was blatant as anything. Anyone that tells me that's a penalty is having a laugh. It's a joke. And I said it last week before we reviewed this game, that Liverpool will probably win the game and they'll probably get the rub of the green because they're just getting all the decision. And how Klopp can have the nerve every week to come out and slag off referees when they get every 50-50 decision go their way. It's bollocks. It's all bollocks. Do you think it was a penalty?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, he did. Yeah, he went over a bit. If he hadn't dived, it's a deal would have kicked him 4 foot into next week. It was a mad one. I remember David Ginola said he was trying to avoid injury because he knew he was going to kick him, so he would just dive over the top of it, which is kind of what Núñez said. But I think he kind of got him with his thigh as well. It wasn't. If that was us, Baz, if that was
already on his way over though,
if that was Alexander Isak going over a defender, I'm playing devil's.
Before he even gets to Diop, he plants his foot and he's away over. Before he's even got to him, he's gone. He's over.
If that was Alexander Isak, Baz, you would be screaming for a penalty.
Even the referee, apparently, I mean, one of the Fulham players was interviewed afterwards and said the ref held his hands up after half time and said he got it wrong.
So why haven't the VAR did anything about it?
Because they got it wrong as well. Which is
they got it wrong as well.
Every
all right, no bother. So yeah. Yeah. I know you wanted to mention a bit about the first half goals, Baz, last week.
Yeah, I mean, it was something we talked about a little bit in Discord and stuff like that. So 10 games from Saturday through to Tuesday. There was a full slate of Premier League games. 10 matches, and 7 of the 10 matches had 3 or more goals in the first half. So, normally you're getting a good plus money price just for 2 goals in the first half. But a lot of them went with 3. So we had the Liverpool Spurs game, obviously Brighton 6-0. It carried on Monday with we actually mentioned it on the show when we recorded Monday before the Everton Leicester game went off. Serial had got in the chat, pointed it out. I know Serial had got up the ladder there on that. That one finished 2-1 at half time. Almost hit 3-1 at half time because Maddison missed a penalty. So yeah, it's just something to keep an eye out later on in the season. We've said it might be a few more games with silly little scores, possibly games where teams are switching off a bit, or other situations where teams like Everton and Leicester are desperate for wins. So I know Serial's keen again for a first half ladder. You don't fancy the goals tonight, but definitely worth keeping an eye out. There have been a lot of goals around in those first halves lately.
Especially this time of year, Baz, there's teams sort of playing for their lives. There's all sorts of funny results, and I think this is a lot more good handicapping to be done. I looked at this card tonight, and I found myself relying less on stats and more on feeling and how you've seen teams play, how you've heard managers talk, and things like that. I think it's definitely something for that time of year. I've got a new Twitter algorithm thing, Baz. The bulk buying of tennis balls now, Twitter thinks I'm into.
All right. Have you
like
bought
tennis balls? No, don't need any. But not just 3, like 1,000. Like minimum unit of the tennis balls it's offering me is like 1,000 tennis balls. So yeah, there you go. Slutty Velma's well and truly. She's old news. Like we're still get the odd tarantula on a banana. But yeah, it's all about the tennis balls. But we get stuck into these games once I've told you about Shady Rays and Shady May. Shady Rays is teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off, but you also have a chance to win $500. Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. The best bit of this by far, the offer for lost and broken replacements. No questions asked on day one. Shady Rays will replace them. No questions asked. So you can wear them with confidence. If you don't love them, you can exchange them or return them for free within 30 days. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 Shady May contest. Okay.
Rays, Malcolm, do you know that code works for UK as well as USA?
Does it? I saw you asking the other day, actually.
We have had different sponsors in the past where it's been not applicable to our UK listeners, but I can confirm Shady Rays UK website definitely accepts the code SGPN for 50% off 2 pairs. So there you go.
Right, Baz. My laptop has just died. I'm still good to stream, but one of my Bet365 pages just packed up on me. So I won't have this. The only thing I haven't got is the start times of these games. So I know we're going to kick off with Bournemouth v Chelsea, which is Barry on. Come on, son.
Saturday.
Yeah, at.
It'll be at 3:00. There's no early game Saturday because we'll all be pledging our allegiance to the King, won't we? God save the King and all that.
Fuck that. So Saturday at 3:00. Yeah, Bournemouth against Chelsea. Bournemouth 12-5, plus 240. Doors 5-2, plus 250. Chelsea 11-10, plus 110. This made me laugh just because Chelsea 11-10. Anyone for Chelsea? Roll up. Place your bets here. Wow. No thanks, Baz. I'm all right for taking 11-10 on Chelsea. Haven't won since 1987. Hapless Frank's got no idea. The players aren't interested. I didn't even look at anything else. I kind of partly, when I said I was good handicapping, I don't mistake it for laziness because it wasn't. But I don't think anyone not taking Bournemouth here one shot with shit. I think you have to bet Bournemouth. You can't. There's no conceivable course of action. Anyone in their right mind, Baz, am I right?
Yes, you are right. I haven't taken Bournemouth, but all my leans were in that direction. So I learned the other day that Bournemouth are currently a shorter price to be relegated than Chelsea. So at the moment, you can get 500 to 1 for Bournemouth to be relegated. Chelsea are only 250 to 1. So Chelsea are bigger favourites to get relegated this season than Bournemouth. Neither of them will get relegated, let's be honest. But Bournemouth could actually go above Chelsea with a win here. Now, bear in mind, most people have Bournemouth written off as bottom of the league, finishing bottom, relegated. To now be in a position where they could be overtaking Chelsea at this stage in the season is unbelievable. I actually started writing my notes without looking at any odds here. And I expected them to be about 7-4 each side. I didn't think the bookies would have much between them. So imagine my surprise to find Chelsea at just 11-10 plus 110. I mean, they haven't won a game in 9. So anyone, as you say, I'm with you. You need your head checked if you're backing these at this price. But Bournemouth, on the other hand, have won 4 of their last 5 and 6 of their last 9. And whilst a lot of those wins have come against the bottom sides, they have beaten Spurs and Liverpool in that run. So absolutely no reason why they can't beat Chelsea here. Chelsea look mentally gone. Don't get me wrong. They'll win another game at some point this season, I think. It might happen here. But I think we have to continue to fade them until what we see with our eyes on a weekly basis changes. Because what we see every week with Chelsea is that you can't possibly back them. And even more so at such short odds, I can't have that either. I mean, Chelsea scored the other day against Arsenal, which is a bonus for them. They only scored 1 all month in April, so that goal against Arsenal could maybe be it for me now. I don't know. So I do think Bournemouth definitely offer the better value. But I was a bit conflicted because I quite like the price on goals here. And the reason for that is it's normally quite short back in the unders. There's normally a lot of leads for the unders in Chelsea games, but more recently, there have been goals. Bournemouth do leak a lot of goals. We know they've got the worst defensive record in the league. And even in a good run of form lately, they can have the odd game where they ship a few. So, as I say, they've won 6 of their last 9, but Villa put 3 past them. West Ham put 4 past them. Brighton put 2 past them. And even in some of their wins, 3 of the last 5 wins have all came with them conceding a goal on the other side of it. So I like Bournemouth as a pick, but I'm pivoting to the over 2.5. I think there'll be goals in it. I think Chelsea might get one. I can see a Bournemouth winning this 2-1, 3-1, something like that. So the pick for me, Bournemouth v Chelsea, is over 2.5 goals at 10-11.
Okay, over 2.5 goals. As predicted, Baz, the shopping is going away as we speak. If you notice the elaborate system of hand signals, we've got a traffic light system going here as the IT department puts the shopping away while you talk, and then is frozen in time while I talk. So that's what's going on here. Live domestic bliss on the Premier League Gambling Podcast. Next up then, are we still Saturday 3 o'clock, Manchester City, Baz?
We are indeed, and this one's on TV, so it's a bit of a rarity in the UK having a 3 p.m. Saturday game. Normally 3 p.m. is a blackout. None of the 3 p.m. games are on TV, but I believe this one was originally probably the lunchtime slot. And as I say, because of the King's coronation, no lunchtime slot. So we've now got a 3 p.m. game on TV, which is a bonus for us. Some funny times this week. We've got Sunday evening games as well this midweek, I think.
Excellent. So we got Man City 1-7 minus 700. The draw is 15-2 plus 750. Leeds United with a new gaffer, Big Sam, is 16-1. You can get on Leeds. Baz, Big Sam, did you enjoy his press conference?
Oh God. Yeah, so what was it? There's nobody knows more than him, nobody better than him. Klopp's not better than him. Pep's not better than him. Or Arteta's not better than him. Yeah, he's certainly, Big Sam has a big impression of himself. I don't know. I just don't know. So first game in charge here for Leeds. I mean, what's he going to have in store? How does Allardyce get this Leeds side to suddenly become hard to beat? And what can he do to give him any chance of a result here? The answer for me is probably nothing. What my initial thought is, what I would expect is lots of kicking and fouling from Leeds. I think as a minimum, you want to come away from this game probably with no points, but able to say, oh, we put up a good fight, we battled hard, and that gives us hope for the last 3 games of the season. I think he's going to be physical, getting right stuck into them early on. It won't get them anywhere, but it might possibly pick them up a lot of cards. So I like the cards, but again, tends to be on a Thursday. We can't get any prices yet on cards in these games. So I definitely like the look of Leeds cards. I think he's going to want to get into them, be physical, and try and make an impression on the game that way. I don't think they'll come away with anything, but that's one angle I will be looking at. The City angles that we'd usually look at, just it's similar to the other week in the FA Cup game, where I just found it really hard. The prices are just becoming unbackable again. So, I mean, the team total for City, if you want to take over 2.5 City goals this week, it's at 4-7. You're only getting 6-4 plus 150 for them to score 4 or more. And I just think that's stretching things a bit far in Allardyce's first game back. So I'm going to take a leaf out of your book here. I'm going to take Leeds to get a goal and land both teams to score 19-20. Leeds haven't failed to score in any of their last 9 games. Is that true? Sometimes, you know, when you've wrote notes down and then you read them and you think, that can't be true. But sure enough, it is. I mean, both teams to score has hit in the last 9 games for Leeds. And the over 2.5 hits with frequency 8 of 9, I think. So, yeah, Leeds haven't failed to score in 9. Man City did keep a clean sheet last night, but that was their first in 6 league games. So the both teams to score at around evens is a good price for me. And as I say, I just think the City, the handicaps, the team totals, the goals, all of those markets are just becoming a price that's just a little bit too far to push it. But at the same time, I don't fancy Leeds on the other side of it. So give me the both teams to score.
I was enjoying your handicap there, Baz, but as the tinned goods and freezer was getting restocked, I put myself on mute so you couldn't hear me. I was laughing at you saying there'd be lots of kicking and fouling to be expected from Leeds. I don't understand why they've appointed him. I mean, if they still go down, they'll just say, well, he couldn't do anything. If they miraculously stay up, he'll be lauded as some sort of hero, which is ridiculous. But I just don't know what he could do. I mean, we saw Eddie Howe. Like, how long did it take him? I came out with that Watford game, the 3-3 draw, and I think it was in January, thinking that's it, we were knackered. And it taken him 3 months. You can't impose a system.
4 games.
Sorry? Yeah. You can't impose a system or a set of beliefs or a training regime. All you can do is either tell them to all stand up that end and stop it going in, or like you say, go and kick shit out the other. Look, my pick, Baz, this weekly problem, my both teams to score let me down against West Ham. I pivoted away from it and you've taken it again. My bet, Baz, I don't know if you're going to like this or not. I've covered a few score lines, and how I've done it is the exact total goals market. So 4 goals is plus 375, and exactly 5 goals is 5-1. So if we'll take a tenner on each, Baz, £20 the bet. If we get 4 goals, so we're covering like a 3-1 win kind of thing, or then 4-0 Man City. We'll win 47.50. If it's 5 goals, you'll win 60 quid. So there's a little bit of profit on both of those angles. How do you feel about that, Baz?
I don't know.
You don't know how you feel. Do you want me to leave it with you?
What's your correct score? What are you thinking we're going to be looking at?
4-0.
You're after a 4-0.
Or a 3-1, or a 4-1, or a 5-0. They're my options. Or a 3-2. But I mean, we could go on. There's loads of different ways you can make 4 or 5.
What about a 2-2?
Winner, yeah. Put that in the book.
Yeah, I don't know. As I say, it gets to the point, doesn't it, where you do have to look at something different and a different way of playing it. Because, as I say, handicaps and team totals just aren't playable this week for me in these ones.
I requested a treat, Baz, from the shops. What do you think I've got?
Trifle.
Oh, that's not a bad ever, that was on the short list. Chocolate eclairs. Chocolate. Yeah. I'll eat both of them, Baz. Solid 2,000 calories in there.
What's in the middle of that, Malcolm?
Squirty cream.
Squirty cream, won't it?
Squirty cream.
Please don't eat that during this show.
There'll be an over or under of about 11.5 on how many times the term arse cream is brought up on the Kentucky Derby podcast later on with Sean and Ryan. Tottenham Palace, Baz, Saturday 3:00.
Oh, is this one over to me again?
No, just the time. You're in charge of the time now, aren't you, doofus?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's also at 3:00. Yeah.
If anyone in the comments thinks I'm ignoring them, I'm not. Just my computer's buggered, so I'm just playing along. Solid guess on Battenberg, captain and Seno, but as discussed, chocolatey clear. Tottenham against Crystal Palace. Tottenham are 4-5, -125. The draw is 14-5, +280. Palace are 16-5, +320. I mean, how tricky was this to handicap? Like, one team who've got no idea what they're doing, and then the other team, I've got no idea what they're doing. Crystal Palace are my nemesis. So this caused me all kinds of problems. Spurs mounted a little fight back against Manchester United. Mounted quite a big fight back against Liverpool, even though they spunked it at the end. So it looks like they're back trying. Ryan Mason, I think, was always going to give them that, if nothing else. Palace, I told you, couldn't score last week. They scored 4 times. And yeah, when the minute I got on side with him, the form dropped off, and so I faded him again, and they went and scored 4 times. I don't like this, Baz, but I think Mason can drive Tottenham to a win. They've still got some good players. We saw Kane and Son kind of took it upon themselves, Richarlison, to drag them back into the game, and I think there's going to be something there. I think they're going to want to win, but they might have taken something from that and from the 2-2 home draw with Manchester United, which is not a bad result, you know. Yeah, I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm going to take Tottenham at 4-5, -125.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first thing I thought was I felt like this might be a spot where I would be willing to take Spurs for the first time in a while. But then I opened it up and seen them at 4-5, and I just thought, similar to Chelsea, I just can't work with Spurs at odds on at the moment. I struggle with it. It's not to say I don't think they'll win. I just didn't like the price on it. I think they might get a result here, but goals was the way to go for me. Spurs have hit over 2.5 goals in 8 of the last 9. Not Spurs themselves, but Spurs games have hit over 2.5 in 8 of the last 9. And both teams to score in all of the last 9. Palace have let in 5 in the last 2 games. But they've also managed to score 12 in the last 6 under Hodgson. So Palace are getting in amongst the goals a bit more now. 8-11, it's a bit short for over 2.5 goals. But that's the pick for me. It's a short one today. If you want to go a bit bigger, I don't mind tagging the both teams to score on. You can get that to 11-10, +110 if you go to both teams to score and over 2.5. But yeah, short price on 8-11, over 2.5 goals in this one for me.
Okay, cheers, Buzz. We'll get on to the next game once I've told you firstly about Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania 4 is here. Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes, plus plenty of ways to win with NBA, NHL, and MLB with their player prop parlays. Head to underdogfantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. And we've got a Kentucky Derby promotion for Kentucky Derby Week. The notorious OTB show on the network here, hosted by the Wolf of Oak Road, which is really funny. He's as mad as a bottle of chips, is Chase. If you leave a review for that show, wherever you get your podcasts, between now and Belmont Saturday, June the 10th, you'll be entered into a draw to win a canvas print of the Wolf's one-of-a-kind Fallen Bob painting. And we've got the bonus contest exclusively on the SGPN app. The winner gets a $100 SGPN gift card. If you need all the winners for that, get across and read my article today, because they're all in there. Wolves v Villa, Baz, time check for this.
I think we're at 3:00 Saturday afternoon.
3:00 Saturday afternoon. Wolves 15-8, +187. The draw is 23-10, +230. Villa are +150, which is 6-4. We go from my nemesis Palace, Baz, to your nemesis Wolves. So what have you got?
I hate Wolves. I absolutely hate them, Mike. But I'll start with Villa. I feel like I got a bit captivated by Villa after the 3-0 win by Newcastle. At the end of a really, really big run of unbeaten, a really long unbeaten run for Villa. So I got a little bit excited about them and started getting a bit carried away with them. They went and drew with Brentford, let me down. They won 1-0 against Fulham at a time where I backed them to score 2 or more. And then I backed them to beat Man United. Thought it was a bit of a punt, was worth a punt, and I was let down again at the weekend. So Villa have let me down big time. But I mentioned last week their scoring run. Now it was busted against Man United. That was the first game in 19 that they hadn't managed to score at least one goal. So that run's come to an end. But I think Villa are a better side than Wolves. Wolves are obviously destroyed 6-0 last week by Brighton. And it's so hard to work them out. I mean, they're home form. They've won 3 in a row now, which bucked the trend a little bit. As I say, we would always talk about that trend of Wolves home games. Flip-flopping between wins and losses. It's now 3 wins in a row. And they've also had 3 clean sheets in the last 3 home games, Wolves. But I'm giving Villa another chance here. They're in the last chance saloon with me. I'll have to pivot away from them next week if they let me down again. But Villa at 6-4, I think, are worth a punt here on the money line. So that's the pick for me. Villa to beat Wolves, 6-4.
Okay, cheers, Baz. We've got a new name in the comment section. Michael Hurst. Evening, Michael. How you doing? Michael likes the draw. Well, I like Michael liking the draw because, Baz, the draw is going to be my pick here at 23-10. Both teams need to bounce back here. Wolves obviously from getting smashed. And I think Villa just been disappointed with how they showed up at Old Trafford last week. That was kind of a big day for them. And the all new shiny Unai Emery Aston Villa, they've been playing really, really well. That was a chance to showcase it. And they didn't really. They played okay, made a couple of half chances. And like you said, it's the Wolves' home form that just leaves you scratching your head a bit because they have won 3 in a row, all to 0 as well. 3 home games to 0. So I think they can avoid a defeat here. This is a local derby. And as we know, Baz, they always finish 1-1. So dead easy, this. I mean, we don't have to look any further than that. The draw is at 23-10. And the 1-1 is at 11-2. Plus 550. So that is the play there. Time check on Liverpool v Brentford, Barry.
Liverpool-Brentford is a 5:30 Saturday evening UK time. So we'll be looking at Eastern time, 12:30 in the afternoon.
Well done. Saturday tea time. It's all finger sandwiches and afternoon tea and stuff for the coronation this weekend. Liverpool, look at you, Liverpool are 11-25, minus 227. The draw is 4-1. Brentford are 5-1. So, at risk of repeating myself, Liverpool have picked up 12 points out of 12. Question marks over every single one of them. They beat West Ham by 1, thanks to VAR. They beat Spurs by 1, thanks to VAR. They beat Fulham by 1, thanks to VAR. I didn't even go back to the 4th game. I just got sick of looking. It's the same shit every week. Brentford have won 2 in a row. And they'll have a go here, I think. There's no reason for them not to. They were quite lively. They got a good win at Chelsea. And then came from behind to beat Forest last week. I looked at all different ways of trying to get Brentford involved in this. I looked at Brentford on the handicap, the Asian handicap, plus 1.5, but it was too short. Like I said, they just keep winning by 1, Liverpool. So even if they squeak this again, then Brentford. So if it's not a working man's price, but if you made your money, stick Brentford on the Asian handicap. However, their luck has to run out, Baz, doesn't it? Does it not? Give me the draw. Brentford, they can't do it again. I refuse to believe it. I'll take the draw, Barry, at 4-1, please.
Yeah, Michael in the comments likes the over 2.5 goals, and I don't mind that in any Liverpool game, but it's a very short price this week, 1-2. Certainly want to stick in your accumulators, your parlays and whatever. Don't mind that at all. Same comments, really. Liverpool, winning stretch runs to 5 in a row now. The last 4 all coming by a single goal margin. Fulham game was their first clean sheet in 6 games. And they're doing just enough every week or getting just enough of the favourable decisions a week to keep them plodding along. This will be their third home game in a row, and their home form is good. They've won 6 of the last 7, with only Arsenal taking a point from them. The Fulham win also ended a streak of 5 games in a row with both teams to score in Liverpool games, and 5 games in a row with over 2.5 goals in Liverpool games. As you say, Brentford have reversed their slide a bit. Wins over Chelsea and Forest, ended a 6-game winless streak. I think there's lots of short prices about here. Liverpool, again, are too short for me at 4-9. I don't want to be taking Liverpool in handicaps at the moment because they're scraping their way through games. And I thought over 2.5 was a little bit too short for me to put up as my main pick. So I'm similar to you. I'm taking a chance on Brentford here, but I'm keeping the draw on my side. I'm taking Brentford on the double chance market, 13-8. So what's that? Plus 165, something like that. 13-8 for Brentford to win or draw. Brentford won the reverse leg at their own place, 3-1. Like you, I think they'll put up a decent fight here. Liverpool are always capable of conceding goals. So yeah, give me a chance on Brentford to get something from this game, 13-8.
That probably would have been my pick, Baz, if I hadn't given you so much stick over the last couple of months for picking that, because that was the one pick that fitted what I wanted to pick.
That's where I thought you were going with the as you talk through it. To be,
I wasn't. I just couldn't. I'm a bit better than that, so I took the 4-1 shot. Right, I know what time the next one is. I think with Newcastle Arsenal. Is this R4 on Sunday?
It is a 4:30 Sunday.
Okay, 4:30 Sunday, 11:30.
There's no early game on Sunday because we'll all be
watching. What we doing now?
Concert for the King or something like that. I think we'll all be having garden parties on Sunday lunchtime.
Old sausage fingers is having a party, is he?
Not having a street party around your way, anything like that?
Not that I'm aware of, Baz. There's no neighbourly spirit around here. We can't stand each other. So 4:30 on Sunday game, I will be at Newcastle. 13-9 favourites, plus 145. The draw's 11-4, plus 275. Arsenal are 13-8, plus 162. Big game, Baz. What's happening?
Massive game. Big game for both sides here. A win for Newcastle would see them one step closer to confirming the Champions League football next year. And Arsenal are obviously looking for a win to keep their title hopes alive. Newcastle won 8 of the last 9 now. That 3-0 loss for Villa, the only blemish on the record. Scored 26 goals in those 9 games. And it's hard to think back now to a time where we were struggling to score. But it's not that long ago where we were sitting here every week just saying, you can't back Newcastle to be scoring more than a goal. They might pick up the odd goal. We had a real sort of crash in confidence. So it's good to see us back on the score sheet and so many players chipping in with the goals now. It doesn't seem to matter whether he starts Isaac or Wilson. Whoever starts will probably contribute, and whoever comes off the bench at half time will come on and contribute. He's got them both working, no matter who he starts or where they come into it. It all seems to be working. So really, really good stuff on that front. It's another game where I think cards are worth a look. Again, I haven't got any prices yet, but I'll definitely be looking at it. Arsenal were rattled in the reverse fixture against Newcastle. That was the 0-0 back in January where Arteta properly spat his dummy out, accused us of all the time wasting and dark arts and all that. That one. And I think there'll be a little bit of needliness as a result of the fallout following that game. But similarly, Arsenal they'll still remember last year. This time last year, 3 or 4 games left. They come to St James's Park with 4th place in their hands, place in the Champions League in their hands, and we absolutely turned them over and handed the 4th place to Spurs. Arsenal have that in their mind. Xhaka was on Sky the day after the Chelsea game and brought it up. So they don't forget. And I just think that there's potential for a little bit of needle in this one. Particularly if Newcastle can go ahead. Arsenal will get frustrated. They'll start kicking, fouling. We'll start wasting time and antagonising them even more. So I definitely think cards is something to look out for. But we'll see what sort of prices come out nearer the day. Corners we have to mention again. Even in that 0-0 game in January, where Newcastle are quite content with a 0-0, we got 5 corners against Arsenal. Going back to that fixture at the end of last season at St James's Park, we got 12 corners against Arsenal in that game. And a reminder, in the last 3 games, Newcastle have got 34 corners of their own in 3 games. So corners is actually priced up okay. Recently, it's been going up, and we've had to back at it from sort of 7 onwards to get plus money. This week, you can get Newcastle over 5.5 corners at 11 to 10. So I'm going to put that up as my pick for this week because we've hit that number 5 in a row at home. And 6 just seems to be an easy number on the corners for Newcastle. There's something about the way we play where we just hit lots of corners. And if you're telling me the starting point 6 for plus money, I'll have that all day long. I'll probably climb the ladder on it, and I'll probably also be looking at some bet builders involving goals, corners, cards, because I think it could be full of all sorts. If I was looking at the money line, I fancy Newcastle to get something from this game, just because our form at the moment is good. Even if we go a goal down, we're not letting heads drop at this point. We've faced a little bit of adversity recently. Southampton, Brentford, even the first half of the Everton game, Everton come at us and caused us a lot of problems, but we seem to be able to get past that and get the results. I think Newcastle can get a result out of this one.
Michael in the chat, Newcastle fan, asking what price the double chance is. Well, I'm not telling you, Michael. I'll tell you why, because you don't need to know, because Newcastle are going to win. Comparison games, Baz, that was the route I went down here. Very, very recently, home against Manchester United, smashed the daylights out of them. Home against Tottenham, smashed the daylights out of them. Last year against Arsenal, the game you just talked about, very similar comparison game. So it's not just the fact that Newcastle have been winning, it's the fashion in which they've been winning. They've won both of those games and that Arsenal game incredibly comfortably. We mentioned Saliba missing every week. Gabriel went off injured the other night. In fact, he got injured about 4 times. And as they were cruising, I don't know why they didn't take him off. They seemed to leave him on, just hung him out to dry a bit. My sources give him a 25% chance of playing at the weekend. Even if he plays, it doesn't matter. But if he's out, it just means we score some more goals. You can only take Newcastle on the money line, 13 to 9, plus 145. West Ham, Man United, Baz, time?
Yeah, just for customer service, I'll tell Michael that the double chance for Newcastle is 4 to 9. It's a little bit too short for me at that sort of price. Just back Newcastle to win. Or get on the corners. Corners galore. Moving on, where are we at now? 4:30.
West Ham, Man
United.
Okie doke. West Ham 12 to 5, plus 240. The doors 11 to 4, plus 275. Manchester United 21 to 20, plus 105. Little caveat on this one, because obviously we haven't seen Manchester United tonight away at Brighton. Both quite hard to trust at the moment. West Ham are doing okay against teams around them. They have lost 3 in a row, but they played Liverpool, were unlucky. They played Manchester City. They've been scoring goals as well. They did score 3 at Palace last week, even though they got turned over. And like I say, they're stuck in the middle of this Europa League semi-final malarkey. Man United have won 4 of the last 5, keeping 4 clean sheets. I don't know how, because I wouldn't trust them to do that at all. This is 8th versus 10th in the form table, and it does feel like a little bit like a mid-table game. I like both teams to score, but it's too short. So I'm going to take another draw, Baz. A bit adventurous tonight. West Ham can get a point here. Could be another 1-1. Could easily be another 1-1. The draw is 11 to 4 for me, plus 275.
Yeah, I'm just looking, as you say, a difficult one, as we've not yet seen how Man United have got on against Brighton tonight. 4 minutes in, I've just had a message from someone saying, how haven't we had 2 goals already? So it must have been a lively start on that one. I don't know who's missed the chances. It sounds like a bit of a lively start.
0-0.
De Gea with an amazing save from Mitoma, I can see in the live text commentary. So it sounds like Brighton are off to the best start so far. Early days, of course. Yeah, difficult because we've not seen Man United this week. I have taken Man United to book the form and pick up an away win tonight. It might be a bit stupid. We'll find out in the next hour and a half. West Ham have just had a 3-game losing streak where they've conceded 9 in those 3 games. They did come against Man City, Liverpool, Palace. I mean, Palace one's a disappointing one. Let 4 in there. Man United have been unpredictable away from home. They've beaten Forest and Betis recently, but they also lost 7-0 to Liverpool, 2-0 to Newcastle, 3-0 to Sevilla. They blew a 2-0 lead away at Spurs last week. And it's those vulnerabilities on the road that have pushed me towards the goals market here. That coupled with West Ham's recent defensive frailties. So I think there could be a few goals in this one. Push me towards the over 2.5. It's a little bit short again at 8-11. I've picked a couple of 8-11s tonight. I don't like going beyond minus 125, 4-5 shots, but anyway, I've done it. So we're there. Over 2.5 goals at 8-11. I would say if Man United go to Brighton and win tonight, then I might have been tempted to pivot and take Man United on the money line. A defeat tonight for Man United, and they might start looking over their shoulder a little bit. But the pick for me, West Ham v Man United, over 2.5 goals at 8-11.
Okie doke. Next up is Fulham v Leicester. Baz, time and a place for this?
Fulham v Leicester. You see, you've knocked me off my stride here because I'm bouncing between.
Surprise! You knew I was going to ask.
I know, but I'm bouncing between the live updates on tonight's games and.
Concentrate on this.
It's going to be 4:30s, aren't they? I don't know. Where are we? What day are we on?
Who cares? Sunday, Fulham 13-8, whatever time it is, plus 162. The draw is 5-2, plus 250. Leicester are 8-5, plus 160. I'll pass this back to you, Baz. Fulham, Leicester.
Correction, Malcolm. It's a Monday afternoon game, 3:00. Because we're all off work on Monday, pledging our allegiance to the King. God save the King. The one bonus out of all of this is that we do get an extra day, an extra holiday. So we have 3 games back to back on Monday, 3:00, 5:30, and an 8:00, which is nice. Thank you, Charles. I'll take that. Fulham v Leicester. Where do you go with this one? Fulham have lost 3 on the bounce now. Defeat in those 3 defeats to Liverpool, Man City, and Villa. 3 teams in form, all coming by a single goal. Prior to that, they'd beaten 2 of the basement sides, Leeds and Everton. So they could be seen as a bit of an indicator here as they face Leicester, who are another one of those basement sides. Those 2 wins were 2-1 and 3-1, so good signs for the overs and the both teams to score there. Leicester, on the other hand, have been chipping away ever so slightly. They're unbeaten in 3 games, 5 points, 1 win, 2 draws. A vital 5 points for them in the battle for survival. It keeps them hanging on in there, keeps them with a bit of hope. They can't keep a clean sheet, though. They've had none in the league since, I think, November. And the last 4 games for Leicester have all hit both to score. 8 of the last 9 have all hit both to score. So again, good trends on Leicester side of things for goals again. So it's another one where I'm going down the goals route. It's over 2.5 goals for me, this one. It's 4-5. So yeah, lead Fulham v Leicester, 4-5 for over 2.5 goals. You're on mute, Malcolm.
I'm not, man. I'm back. All the shopping's away as well. The kebabs have come out the oven. Kebabs, bit of salad, and coleslaw was what was taken away by the IT department there. But it's decent. Smells nice. Fulham lost 3 in a row, but the last 2 against Liverpool and Manchester City, so you can forgive that. Leicester unbeaten in 3, but I think they should have done a bit better. You know, they've drawn with Leeds and they've drawn at home to Everton, and they're not very good, Leeds or Everton. Fulham did okay at Liverpool. And then you mentioned it, Baz. You've got all the clues, Baz. Yeah, I just think you've put them together wrong. Well, no, because you could probably still win. You just won't win as much as me. The 2 comparison games are Fulham at home to Leeds and Fulham at home to Everton. I mean, it's just it's like a horse race. The form lines are all there. They beat Leeds at home 2-1. They won at Everton 3-1. Teams that Leicester failed to beat. Fulham is still trying, as witnessed by their last few performances, and they're just too big here. 13-8. Leicester are favourites, man. give over. Fulham are too big, 13-8, plus 162. Captain Insano, he wasn't even in the chat before, and he's somehow managed to spirit his way in to call me a buffoon for putting myself on mute, which is a MLB gambling podcast hangover. 2 games left here on the show. So you reckon this is what, Monday tea time, Baz?
This is Monday 5:30.
Monday 5:30. We'll just be we'll be taking a little hour and a half break from what we doing. What do you do? Celebrate, rejoice.
I don't know. Just
what you meant to do?
Sing "God Save the Queen" or King. Again. I don't know.
It's too late for her, Baz.
Oh, stand on the lawn, waving our Union Jack around.
She died when I was in Vegas, and all the waitresses and female dealers thought I was genuinely upset. It was the most female attention I'd ever had, Baz. People who thought I was gutted for the passing of Her Majesty. Brighton 1-3, minus 300. The draw is 17-4, plus 425. Everton are 8-1. Brighton currently 0-0 with Man United. It's going to finish 0-0 as well. You can turn it off. They won 6-0 against Wolves last weekend, and that is a good indication, really, of what they're capable of. I think they'll carry on, finish the season strong. There's no reason not to. Everton played okay at Leicester on Monday. Obviously, the penalty was key. They were 2-1 down, and James Maddison missed a penalty. And that probably would have buried them. However, Calvert-Lewin had missed an absolute sitter 2 minutes before that, which was easier to score than a penalty. So you could kind of dress that up the other way. The option was Everton were competitive. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who I've mentioned a couple of times, he looked really, really sharp. And there's been people questioning why Dyche hadn't kind of hurried him back. And maybe we saw the reason he hadn't hurried him back on Monday was because they've got a much better chance if he is fully fit of just getting maybe the 1 or 2 goals needed to keep Everton up. Everton will have a go because they have to have a go. That clean sheet for Brighton against Wolves was their first in the last 4. Like I say, Everton with Calvert-Lewin, they made loads of chances the other day. They scored 2 goals. I think both teams to score is a live bet. You can't see Brighton not scoring, but I'm happy to give Everton one as well. BT to yes, 9-10, Baz, minus 111.
Again, to the one, it'd be good to see how Brighton get on tonight before handicapping this one. But here we are, waiting for the goals to go in. So we're handicapping it off the back of a 6-0 win over Wolves. But Christ, I couldn't believe my eyes when I opened this one up. I saw Brighton at 1-3. When have Brighton ever been 1-3 against anybody?
What price would you think they should be? Do you want them bigger?
I don't know, but I'm not 1-3 in any game.
All right.
Well, I'd say they've only won half of their home games. They've only won half of the last 4 games. They've lost 2, won 2. I cannot have them at that price. I said last week I thought the books had been sleeping on Brighton for a while. And we were getting good prices for ages on the Brighton goals and Brighton handicaps and things like that. But I think they've caught on to it and went a little bit too far. I took Man United tonight purely for the value. I thought they were slightly too big a price. And I just don't know where you go. I mean, I want to have Brighton on my side. I like Brighton, so it's going to sound like I'm out on them and I think they're going to fall apart. I don't. I like Brighton. I enjoy watching them. They're playing some lovely football. But I can't have them at that price. So I have to look to reasons to oppose them. And the reasons are they've won 2 and lost 2 of the last 4 games. So there's a bit of hope there. They got beat off Notts Forest 3-1, comfortably beaten by Nottingham Forest. That's
the second show running you said Notts Forest. How long have you lived in Nottingham? And how much do Nottingham Forest fans hate it?
I mean, absolutely hate it. And I do it all the time.
Yeah, do you do it on purpose? Is that you being...
Possibly.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you knew you were doing it, that's all.
Yeah, they hate it. And Notts County's fans hate it as well. They don't like you calling Forest Notts.
Right, okay, yeah, because that's their thing.
Nottingham Forest and Notts County, yeah. But I do it all the time, and it does wind people up massively. So, yeah, they're not invincible. They've got defeats in them. I mean, the problem we've got is that Everton are shit. And they haven't won away from home.
That is a problem, particularly for Everton.
It is, yeah. And they haven't won away from home since Pussy was a kitten. But if you think that's going to put me off, you'd be wrong. I'm taking Everton to win here. at 8
Yeah.
to 1. I mentioned last week, as I
Barry.
say, Brighton's home form is fairly average. If you look at the form table, for home games, they're 9th in the table, and they've still got Man United to play at home tonight. Man City coming up soon in the home game, so they're going to be bang around mid-table for their home form. Their away form, on the other hand, they're up in 5th place for their away form. So some of their better form comes away from home, and it is just a price that I think is just too big to ignore. I thought Everton were okay the other day, and they were okay for 30 minutes or so against Newcastle. As I say, I enjoy watching Brighton. They play great football, having a great season. But 1-3, nah, not for me. Purely a value play here. Brighton might go and absolutely hammer them, but I'm having Everton at 8 to 1. Everton to beat Brighton 8 to 1. Pick for me.
Love it, Baz. That's more like it. What we're here for. Final game. I'm guessing on Monday night is Nottingham Forest against Southampton. Forest are even money, plus 100. The draw is 13 to 5, plus 260. Southampton are 13 to 5, plus 260. Baz, finish us off with Forest at home to Southampton.
Yeah, so Nottingham Forest, with just one win in 13 games now, and 5 defeats in the last 6. There have been some signs that there's some fight left in them. We mentioned this last week. The win against Brighton was obviously a big positive. And it might be that they go, this is their next home game since then, might go back with a bit of atmosphere. And it's a massive, massive game at this end of the table. It's a game Forest have to win. Similarly, Southampton. I think Southampton could win it and probably still go down, to be fair. They looked okay in a narrow defeat to Liverpool. And then they had a nightmare last week. 1-0 up, 82 minutes. And they've blown it. Lost 2-1 in the 94th minute. That was a massive blow for them, because I think had they have even just picked up a point from that Brentford game again, it would just have been a little bit of momentum. Performances had looked a bit better. But on the other hand, the form line is very similar for Southampton. They've had no win in 9. Looking for positives from Southampton, you could maybe say the first half against Arsenal and the first half against Newcastle were positives. But at the end of it, they crumbled quickly against Newcastle, and they blew a 3-1 lead at 88 minutes against Arsenal to come away with just a point in that one. So I like Forest here. I don't mind them on the money line. But the pick for me is going to be the goals. Over 2.5's hit in 8 of the last 11 Forest games. Earlier in the season, we were back in Forest unders quite often. But they have seemed to have clicked a little bit in front of goal. They've hit the net 6 times in the last 3 games. I can't see it being a cagey affair, this one. It's so big for both teams. Really, pretty much last chance saloon for these teams. Draws are no good to anybody here. So I'm happy to take the over 2.5 goals, available at even money. So Forest v Southampton, over 2.5 at evens is the pick for me.
Over 2.5 at evens, getting it down. 18th against 20th here. Forest have been bettered lately, but that was a kick in the stones last week against Brentford for them. Southampton haven't won in yonks. It's the official period of time they've not won in. They played really well the last 2 away games. They were 3-1 up at Arsenal. Obviously got pegged back. They were 1-0 up at Newcastle. Got pegged back. I quite enjoyed watching them last week as well. They've got some good players. I think I mentioned actually maybe last Monday's show that I'd be interested in them for promotion next season. I liked watching Alcaraz and Lavia, the CDM in there. I think he's only 19 years old. Looks absolutely mustard. And what I got from seeing them firsthand last week was that they're still trying. The manager looks like he's auditioning for the job as well. He was up and down like a bride's nightie in the technical area. So I think Southampton are going to win this. Forest got ruined last week by that late Brentford winner. And this could be another nail in their coffin. This is not going to help anyone because Southampton are going to win and still go down. But they're also going to drag Forest down with them. 13-5 on Southampton is going to be my underdog play, plus 260 Baz. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, has got us through the 10 games. Fancy stuff, Baz. Do you want to lead off? Do you want me to go?
Yeah, I'm going straight in here when we score a pick. And it's a game where I've been a bit bold, taking Everton to beat Brighton. I'm going to go with Dominic Calvert-Lewin to contribute to that. Dominic
Nice.
Calvert-Lewin available at 7-2 anytime, and 10-1 for first goal. With Everton, as I say, just a little bit overpriced for me. I think the scorers are also overpriced, and Calvert-Lewin at 7-2 for an anytime goal.
I contemplated DCL, Baz. He made my shortlist.
Yeah, I mean Brighton. You know, we know they can concede goals. So yeah, I like that at 7-2. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's the pick for me on the scorer. Do you want me to rattle through them all, or do you want to chuck?
Yeah, go.
I'll carry on. My lock in this week is Newcastle United over 5.5 corners at 11-10. Plus money for Newcastle to get 6 corners. It's been a gift that keeps on giving lately. So that's my lock this week. My dog has to be Everton, doesn't it? If I'm going to nail me colours to that mast, I'm sticking an 8-1 pick out in my main picks. Then you've got to put it out there as your dog of the week, haven't you? So yeah, I'll go with Everton to beat Brighton at 8-1 as my best underdog player this week. And finishing off with a treble, we are back with a 3-day parlay with Shady Ray in May. So yeah, I've looked at, we've got the Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 3-day parlay here. It's a treble. It's an over 2.5 goals treble. So we're not looking at team goals this week. It's match goals. I've gone for the Liverpool-Brentford game, the Newcastle v Arsenal game, and Forest v Southampton, all to be over 2.5. And that comes in at around 4-1 plus 400 for the treble.
Champion. Thank you very much, Baz. My lock is I've the same game as you, Baz. I do think Everton could be quite lively here. Both teams to score in that Brighton-Everton game is 9-10. Like I say, DCL did make my shortlist. My dog, I could not see past Bournemouth at 12-5 plus 240. I thought that was an incredible price just for a team who were in good form to beat a team who get beat every week. Goal scorer, Heung-min Son for Tottenham. He looked quite lively the last couple of games. He scored against Manchester United and Liverpool. He's 5-1 first goal and 7-4 plus 175 anytime against Crystal Palace, who conceded 3 last week. And for my ACCA, I'm throwing out the 2 draws, Baz. Don't do this. Draws are notoriously hard to pick one. So I don't know why I think I can pick 2. But I am. Wolves and Villa are going to draw 1-1. So 23-10. And then West Ham and Manchester United are going to draw 1-1 as well. So the 2 draws is 12-1, Baz. Get in the queue. Love it. Anything else you want to...
What price is the 2 1-1s?
Well, 11-2 for that. So we'll put 55 quid, maybe 7-1, 400 quid for a 10 or 40-1.
So 40-1 for a double 1-1.
40-1 for a double 1-1. Are we isolating that and clipping it? Is that why you've asked?
I've just got to ask the question, haven't you? You've mentioned they're both going to be 1-1. So yeah, got to put it out there.
Got the socials in mind, Baz. Anything you want to tell us about incredibly quickly, because you know how on the clock I am.
No, I've got a little bit of a story to tell you, but I'm going to save it for another day, because every time we get to the end of this show, it's 1 hour and 5 minutes in, and we really do need to wrap it up. One day soon we'll get here and it'll be 55 minutes, and I'll tell you.
We've got all summer, Baz, just to have the fireside chats.
This one expires next week, so we'll get it.
Story expires.
Yeah. It's about an upcoming event.
Okay.
I'm not going to spoil it. You're not getting no.
No. So you've piqued my
we'll catch up
my interest with it.
Are we good to go Sunday, or are you busy?
Nah, mate. I'll not be busy. I'll be drunk, is what I'll be. Stopping out. We celebrate the King Charles and all that malarkey. Monday, Baz, is what we'll be doing. Right. Thanks everyone.
Earlier, it's a holiday, isn't it? So we might be able to go a bit earlier on Monday and get it out in the afternoon, possibly.
But we will schedule it.
We've got lots of football Monday. Obviously, we've covered those games, but then it kicks off again. It'll be Champions League next week, won't it? Tuesday, Wednesday, and a bit of Europa League stuff as well. Maybe we'll have a look and see what's around for next week.
Yeah. Cheers everyone who joined us. Nice to see Michael in there. First time caller, etc. Good luck with all your bets. If you want to listen to the Kentucky Derby stuff, you can do that in a bit. If you want to listen to the MLB stuff, you can do that a bit later. If you don't, have a lovely evening. Enjoy the rest of that 0-0, Brighton Man United. Good luck with your bets. We'll see you down the road. Cheers.